Hello guys, once again, it's Dan here. Welcome to a special vlog video that I've been wanting to do for basically a week now. Last Monday and Tuesday, I actually went to WWE Monday Night Raw and Friday Night Smackdown. Now, I've mentioned over the past that I have been watching it. I've been somewhat of a WWE fan for a few years now. I was a huge fan back in the Attitude Era, but you know, things change. I've been on and off. But anyways, when you go, people wanted to know. They asked me, Dan, I want to see what you thought of it. Let us know your reactions, like what you thought of these live events. Should we go to one, etc. So I'm basically letting you guys know: is it worth going to a live show, or you might as well, or should you just stick at home and watch it on TV? Let me tell you, that's yes and no to both situations. Okay. Now, these were not my first live events for the WWE. I went to Monday Night Raw 2 years ago in 2011. I remember I made a special video on it. It's gone now because of copyright, but anyways, I made a special video on it showing, showcasing a few scenes of where you can spot me in the crowd, and I kind of point them out to you. Because I was like second row. It was ridiculous. I was right behind the announcer, second row. I could see everything. I was right there. It was an awesome experience. Amazing. This time around, back then, we didn't want to go, back then it was Raw in Edmonton where I live, and then it was SmackDown in Calgary, which is just about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours away from here. And we decided we just wanted to go to Raw, because SmackDown, who cares, right? We're not going to drive to Calgary for SmackDown, right? So anyway, this year the roles were reversed. Raw was in Calgary, and SmackDown was in Edmonton. So basically we're like, you know what, let's make a trip out of this. Let's do it. So my friend, my girlfriend and I, we all went down. We took my car. We went down to Calgary for the day. We didn't really have time for much because when we got there it was pretty much rush hour traffic, and we had to be at the Saddle Dome by 5 o'clock or so. That's what they recommended. Let me tell you, no offense to my Calgary fans out there, but it drives me crazy being in that city. I'm sorry. I mean, there's always been a feud between Edmonton and Calgary for years and years and years, and I never bowed into the pettiness, but honestly, there's so much shit that pissed me off when I was down there, let me tell you. Since Saddle Dome is downtown, that's where we had to go, and that's the worst traffic. Not being familiar with Calgary that much, I've been there a few times, quite a few times, but I don't frequent it that much to remember the roads and how things go. Trying to get to the goddamn Saddle Dome was ridiculous. There were people who were so rude, they wouldn't let me in. They kept laying on the horn because I was trying to go in or whatever. It was just so annoying driving in Calgary. I was ready to kill, so I almost got out of my car and knocked a bitch out because she would not stop. The common courtesy was out the window. I'm sure that's everywhere, but for me, it just seemed like, at least in Edmonton, somebody would eventually let me in. Nobody was letting me in. I was fucked. I had to pull some illegal maneuvers just to get to where I needed to go. Okay? So I apologize. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but the people who I dealt with pissed me off. Okay? Alright, so anyways, besides that, we get to the Saddle Dome. We're psyched. We're ready for Monday Night Raw, because like I said, the 2 years past, I loved Monday Night Raw when I went to see it in 2011. So I was psyched. My girlfriend had never been to one. She was excited. My other friend, he went with me 2 years ago. We love wrestling, so we were amped up, we were ready to go. I'd never been to the Saddle Dome in my life, believe it or not. Never. There's been no reason to go, okay? So I'm in there. I've never been there. And the lineups for t-shirts and memorabilia were ridiculous and completely unorganized. Basically, you had a mob of people at these stands. There was no line, velvet lines or whatever you want to call it. The strap things to form a proper line. Everyone would cut in and out, and I'm just like, what is this? So, my advice to you, that's number one. If you're going to go to a WWE live event, and you want to get merchandise for the show, buy it ahead of time online. Do not even bother going and purchasing from these vendors, because there's so many people in line. Now, and the thing is, their selection kind of sucks too. They only have certain superstars, and not all the shirts that they carry. So, I mean, for me, I don't like how WWE does their t-shirts. I hate how they have the design in front, and on the back they have a huge design that covers the whole back. I hate it when designs on the back of the shirt, they're huge and they're just really obnoxious. I hate those. you have a little emblem near the top of the neck here, around there, that's cool, that's fine. But the shirts that I actually like are only available online. So word of the wise, if you're going to go to a WWE live event, order your shirts weeks in advance. Hell, try and go, if you know that something's coming, they'll usually let you know like months in advance. Buy your shirt, trust me, prepare yourself, because you're not going to want, I didn't even bother getting any sort of merchandise when I was there, so that's that. Now, where was I sitting in Raw this time?
I want more shenanigans. More shenanigans. I like that guy's eyeing me. He's like, turn that thing off.
Ladies and gentlemen, this event is owned by WWE. Please be advised that this event may be recorded for future use. Your admission to this event constitutes your agreement to be recorded in connection with this event, and your agreement that your name, voice, and likeness may be used in connection with any program or material created for this event without any compensation being paid to you. In addition, in the interest of safety, especially with our young fans in mind, we ask that you please refrain from throwing anything whatsoever toward the ring. If you are caught doing so, you will be ejected and subject to arrest. Please be considerate of our superstars and your fellow fans. Finally, while we do not discourage the taking of still photos of our superstars for your personal enjoyment, the use of laser pens or any type of video recording or video streaming device, including cell phones, is strictly prohibited. If you are caught using any such device, you will risk ejection from the arena, confiscation of the device, and possible prosecution. We ask for your cooperation. Thank you.
It's just setup, like just the atmosphere. What? What? Oh! Okay, this is copyright. I gotta shut this off.
I thought I was in the corner by the ramp. You know, if you're facing from the ring towards the ramp on the right side, basically we're in the corner near where the superstars enter. I thought I was there, row 11. I wasn't. I was actually if you're standing behind the announcers towards the back left, 11th row, in the first 3 seats on the left there. Let me tell you, here's something that's huge. Do not, I repeat, do not even bother with floor seats unless you're in the first like 1 to 5 rows or 1 to 3. If you can get in the first or second row on the floor seats, otherwise don't even bother. Because to be honest with you, a lot of the people are so rude and like inconsiderate, they'll get in your way and you won't see jack shit, okay? So in Raw, I was 11th back, and there was 10 rows ahead of me of people who were standing up when they didn't need to. If you're in the front row, why are you standing? You could see the best out of anybody. So therefore, you'd be forced to stand, and even then, you couldn't see anything. So I didn't enjoy Raw as much as I did 2 years ago because of those seating placements. So word of the wise, if you're looking, get the seats that are as close to the ring as possible if you're going to do floor seating, okay? But the difference is they actually have like private sales, and then people will buy them and scalp the living hell out of them, which is what they do every time. So you're going to pay up the ass for good seats, which is just pathetic. It's so stupid. Why do people do that? I understand to make money, but it's just so inconsiderate. You know, like they buy them and then they charge like 3 times what they're actually worth. Do you know how much a front row seat is in the box office from an actual ticket company? $70. I'm dead serious. Front row for like a 3-hour plus show, $70. Do you know how much you get them once they get scalped? $250, $300. I'm not even kidding you. My friend and I paid for scalp tickets just to get the second row, and they were like $240, $250. Just keep in mind. So I was very upset because there were a lot of people around me who, again, were very rude and inconsiderate. They were 2 idiots behind us. We were, like, honestly, like we were going to knock them out. We were done with them. Just picture 2, like maybe around my age guys. I'm 22. So 23, 22, 24, that sort of thing. Non-stop shouting. Like non-stop shouting. And then you had, one of the guys, as they started drinking, they got more and more drunk. They started shrieking. I'm not even kidding you. I thought I was sitting next to like a 4-year-old girl because I was just like, dude, they actually gave me a headache. They gave me a headache and I couldn't enjoy the show. So really, it's hit or miss with these shows. If you're in the front row, you're not going to think of that. And you're going to get way more involved with the people when you do your chants, when you do all sorts of things. Like, it's way more fan reaction when you're happy and enjoying the show. So if you're up front, you're going to want to do the chants and you're going to want to cheer more. There I was so mad. All three of us were so mad at these idiots, and a few of the other people would constantly stand up at all times. Like, there was a big fat family that was 2 rows in front of us that were constantly standing. So you couldn't see them past the sides because they were so fucking huge, and then their heads were in the way, and it was just so frustrating, okay? So if you're going to go see a live event, make sure it's either in the first 3 rows, I would recommend. Otherwise, go into the rafters a little higher, because you may be further, but you can actually see the action in the ring. Okay, that's my word of the wise. Okay? So, moving on. Now, this was the cool part. I wasn't expecting this. Upon finishing the show, I did enjoy myself overall. It was really cool because actually, since we were in Calgary, of course they had Bret Hart there because that's his hometown. And it was really cool because they made that day, I believe it was May 27th. Yes, May 27th, Bret Hart Day or something in Calgary. So basically you had all these crazy Hall of Famers that showed up after. You had to watch either online or be there because it was once Raw went off the air, you didn't see this part. And people I've never seen live before. You had obviously you had Bret Hart. I've already seen him live, but not in a wrestling show, ironically. You had Pat Patterson showed up. You even had HBK show up. You even had Mr. McMahon show up himself, and I thought that was really awesome. You had a lot of these people who were congratulating him, and there was this whole ceremony on Bret Hart, and it was just so cool. You know, it was really cool to sit and watch that, and I had forgotten about all those idiots. I was just really engrossed in this little ending ceremony for Bret Hart. It was really awesome. So that's that. Okay, that was Raw. We were leaving. Here's the thing. In the Saddle Dome, they have certain parkades, right? And each parkade has 2 entrances, maybe. Do you know how long it took me to back the hell out of my stall? It took me like 20 minutes just to back out. Anyway, that's it. I was just so frustrated with Calgary. I apologize, again, Calgary people. I don't mean this personally. I don't mean it, but the people I dealt with at that time, oh my God, they just made me want to rip my hair out. But all that made up for it. Because I'm like, nowhere in hell are we staying here. I'm driving back tonight so I can do some work because that's when Fuse and Grid came out the next day. And so basically, since I drove, I had to drive back in the same night. So I was pretty beat as is. So we stopped in the small town of Airdrie. Literally, it's like 15 minutes outside of Calgary. So we go to Airdrie. I'm like, we need some coffee. We need something to eat before we head back. And of course, Tim Hortons is always open late. So we like, oh, let's go to the Tim Hortons. So we go into the Tim Hortons. And before we even go in, there's like kids running in and out of the Tim Hortons. Keep in mind, this is at like 11:30 at night, something like that. Probably around 11 or so, something like that. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is it so busy at this time? And we look in, we step in line, and we see AJ, Big E Langston, and Summer Rae. And they were like, they were stopped for coffee because they have to drive themselves to the next venue if it's close by, which is what they had to do. So they had to drive to Edmonton. So basically, I got a chance to meet these 3 superstars in Tim Hortons of all places. It's pretty funny because I never would have suspected that, but it was really cool just to meet them. They looked beat, and I felt bad for asking them because, you know, they have to be up so early. They have to drive themselves, for God's sake, and then they got to put on another show. You know, I felt bad, but they were nice enough to let us take pictures with them and that sort of thing. So it was really cool meeting some superstars because I never have met any superstars before. So, by the way, Big E Langston the dude is huge, okay? The dude is, I couldn't even imagine, like his arms were like this big. But anyway, it was really cool to do that. So I braved the trip home. I was beat, but it is what it is. Okay, now let's start off with, let's go into SmackDown, my hometown of Edmonton, Alberta, okay?
It's just a technical. It's just a tech.
What?
It's just a tech.
What, right at the back? Yeah, you can't see anything.
What?
Oh, I thought you said thank you or something. I
I was sitting not on floor this time. I was actually in a higher up section. I was in the rear, same kind of area, just rear a little further up. So same rear left if you're behind the announcers and up higher. I could see the ring very clearly. It was unbelievable. It was very clear, a little far back, but it was pretty good. Now the whole time, I felt like I could enjoy SmackDown way more than I could Raw because it was a much more enjoyable experience just because I could see and the people around me were respectable and respectful to you to watch the show. They weren't screaming. I mean, they were making jokes and doing chants, but that's what you do at WWE shows. They weren't going out of control like the people at Raw were, sorry. So that part made me enjoy it so much more. And I gotta say, it's ironic, but normally people don't watch SmackDown because it's kind of just a recap show of what happened at Raw. It seems like you'll get nothing but ads, promos, and recaps. It's really ridiculous. But to be honest, I saw some amazing matches at SmackDown, way better than Raw, and I was really baffled. Even the final match, I'm sure if you guys watched Friday Night SmackDown, it was, I believe, The Shield against... no, excuse me. It was Dean Ambrose against Randy Orton. That's what it was. That match was kind of boring until the Shield came out and basically started attacking. The rest of the Shield came out and started attacking Randy Orton. And then Daniel Bryan and Kane came out. And honest to God, after that little segment, I wanted a Daniel Bryan t-shirt so much. Were they selling them? No, they were not. Daniel Bryan went beast mode. Like, I could not believe it. Like, everyone, the atmosphere was just unbelievable. Every single person in the arena was chanting yes. Like, everybody. Like, if you guys watched it on TV, you can't... The thing is, the difference is the atmosphere, the volume, the energy from the people is so different when you're watching it live. And when Daniel Bryan went total beast mode on all of them... Sorry guys, I'm sick and I'm kind of losing my voice from talking here. Anyway, when he went total beast mode, it was just, like, the guy just went nuts. Like, it was unbelievable. And honest to God, I was so happy I was there because everybody was chanting it. Everyone was doing the yes. You know, it was so immersive. And I didn't even want to leave, man. I just wanted to stay there and see another match like that. So that was unbelievable. I was really excited about it. So, really, what makes a good live show? The ability to see, okay? Now, if you're coming from me, recommendations. If you can get the first 3 rows, definitely take floor seats. Definitely. Because in my first one, in Raw, I actually gave CM Punk a high five at the end of the show when Raw went off the air. Like, we did like like one of those. It's pretty sweet. But anyways, you'll get a better chance of that. You'll see the superstars closer. I even shook Jerry the King Lawler's hand, too, when I went there. That's how close you are. It's close enough to see them and interact with them. But if you're going to be further back, don't bother. You're going to be really miserable because you're paying up the ass for floor seats when you can't see your ass anyway. So I don't recommend, if you're going to be anywhere further back than like row 4 or 5, definitely go a little higher up. But go a little higher up, not like crazy, just so you can get the elevation to see what's going on in the ring. And that's going to make a world of difference. But if you're a WWE fan and you're like, I don't know if it's worth it. It is. At least go once in your life because it's nothing like you've experienced. It's really entertaining. Make sure you buy your merchandise before you even get to the show via online store. You'll have way more selection. It'll actually get there. You won't have to wait in line and very unorganized lines. Like in Edmonton, they actually had those line dividers to make a line more organized, but in Calgary they didn't. So I was like, what the hell? Come on, it's not hard. But that's that, guys. That's it. One last thing I actually want to mention. Sorry. It was basically a wrestling week for me because on Wednesday I went to see, I don't know what the deal was, but Mick Foley made a appearance at the comic strip in West Edmonton Mall, which is basically, well, obviously, a stand-up comedy club. My friend and I went there, and we're like, we have to see this. We thought he was just going to talk about wrestling, but Mick Foley's actually pretty damn funny. He made a lot of jokes. He talked about like his life. He talked about the realism of wrestling, how things work. It was really interesting, and honestly, that was pretty cool. I wanted to get a picture with him and his autograph on something, but like I said, there were so many people waiting for him, we wouldn't have been out of there for like 40 minutes, so we just took off. But that was a really cool experience. I had fun with my wrestling week, but at the same time, I was kind of done with it because I literally, driving all day, like working YouTube all day, I had like no time off. I had no time to sleep in, and then I go right back to the hellish week that I had. Get sick. It's been a lot. So, anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on WWE Raw and SmackDown Live. I do recommend you at least go to one show in your lifetime if you are a fan. It's way better than watching from home. Trust me, I get bored watching from home, and I end up fast forwarding through these really slow matches, but usually a lot of them are really, really entertaining live. So check that out, guys. I do recommend it. That's my answer on that. So thanks, guys, for watching this special vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it answers a lot of your questions. So anyways, guys, thanks again. Take it easy. Have a good one. Don't forget to like and favorite it if you haven't already. Helps out a lot. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you later.